everybody. Welcome to the Week 7 NFL recap. It's what the NFL algorithm did. We're going to have a lot of fun with pivot tables and go over some analysis of the games. And then after this, I'm going to update this for Week 8. If you're interested in seeing the Week 8 picks before I release them publicly for everybody this weekend and get a handle on them before the games, you can go subscribe on kenbraverman.com for the season subscription, or because it's voting week, if you leave a comment below and you voted early, you tell me the state you voted in early and how the experience was, I will give you the link to the unlisted video so that you can watch me recap Week 8 games. But that's for those who are interested in next week. Let's talk about last week and let's talk about this really colorful table and some explanations of what's going on here and how we can draw some analysis from what the algorithm does. So interesting week. Now, a lot of ways, there are a couple different ways to look at this sheet here. And so what I'm going to do is you have a team, you have a team here, whether the team was away or whether they were home, who their opponent was is over here. These are going to be some results that I'll talk about in a second. The win score percentage right here has to do with team stats throughout the season. A really high number is really good. So Buffalo had a really strong win score percentage. Then there's the projected scores, which are based on the actual players that are playing in the game and takes into account things like the injury report, which is this crazy thing that I'm working on where I have more detail on injuries now. I'm going to talk about that a little later in this video. So you get projected scores, which may be different than what the win score percentage is. That's the interesting thing. And so these are the players playing. So I want to say this is a little bit more reliable, and I'll explain why in a second. But that's what the projected scores are coming from. Then we have some actual results. So here are the results from those games. And this is what the money line was. This is what the spread was. And then the payout relates to whether or not the team won the game, the team of reference that we're talking about, whether or not this team won the game and what the payout was. And this was our projected margin of victory. And then there's a running profit over here. And then there's a point variance, which I'll get into. So rather than look at everything in both formats, the best way is the two different ways I like looking at this, which are, one, filter this by projected margin of victory, meaning if the projected margin of victory was greater than 0 when it came to the projected score, then you put those teams on top and you list them just like this in this descending order. And what you get is you see that we were 8-6 when it comes to just money line, did this team win or not? Then these are going to be the same when we're looking at this view in this way. And then it says, well, did the team cover the spread? And the answer is, whoa, we went 10-4 on the spread line. And that's very good because those are almost even money bets. Those are like minus 110 bets. And what's interesting about that is I talked about Buffalo. Buffalo had a 10-point spread, 10.5-point spread. That's too big. I mean, you can't ever predict a team is going to win by like 10. Or the Kansas City New York Jets game this upcoming week. Jets are laying, or Kansas City is laying 19.5 points, meaning you start the game up 19.5 to nothing with the Jets if you bet the Jets. Any spread that big is just really difficult to predict because teams try to win games. So that one I said to stay away from, and that's one that we lost. The only other ones that we lost up top was Atlanta, which didn't really have a great line. I mentioned that, and they didn't beat Detroit at home, but Atlanta's been screwed even though they got a new coach. Everything else covered except for the Patriots, who are apparently awful now. And I don't know why this projected score changed on Green Bay because I had Green Bay previously and they have a huge win score percentage. Anyway, I'm blabbing on a little too long. Point is this is really good on the spread line, even though the 8-6 is okay and the profit is not good looking at it this way. But here's what's interesting is this is why I look at it in both ways, okay? Instead of just looking at it by projected margin of victory descending, now you have to unfilter this over here and sort this thing by descending by win score percentage, which is that team stat number right here. And then you filter by that as well. And you say the filter is greater than, the win score percentage is greater than 0. And then what you get is another interesting look at these teams descending by win score percentage. Here it's profitable overall. Here it's 11-3 on the money line, but only 7-7 on the spread line. So our bets on the spread line or the points were much better at 10-4 looking at it the other way. And that's kind of what I want to get at is even though this was 11-3 here, for example, see Seattle loses to Arizona. We had Arizona by projected score and they were an underdog. So if you took Arizona with the points, you won. You took, Seattle doesn't cover the spread, Arizona does. Same thing with the Bengals. It predicted the Bengals were going to win. If you took the Bengals plus the points, you won, even though you would have lost with Cleveland. Same thing with the Giants and the Eagles. Same thing with the Carolina and the Saints. All these teams covered. The only one that really got hurt here was the Bears. That Monday night game was awful. Didn't work at all. But Tennessee Pittsburgh beat Tennessee. You got that, and then you lost with the Patriots all the way down here. See, we actually had San Francisco favored by win streak. So this is really intriguing because looking at it both of these ways, you can see where really what you want is you want games where both these things were correct and the win score percentage was in your favor and the point projections were in your favor, then you did very well, right? That's these games right here. Winner, 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 winner. All those games won. Every single one of them. So you can see it by this. Look at this now sort of descending by projected margin of victory. And you see that all these games that are in the positive here, everyone except the Bears won. These top four all won. The lines were pretty ugly, but there was a plus 110 with Pittsburgh and only minus 200 with Tampa Bay. So that's really good to see. That's good to know, and that's interesting. Now, upcoming in the new week, we could look at week 8. I have a little bit here. I was working with all the different percentages and what a good distribution is of these percentages here. If you order the file, you get this and you can play with it. We can take a little advanced look at week 8, but I'm going to tell you it's not totally accurate yet because I haven't brought in all the current stats and I haven't updated the injury report. So it's just saying, yeah, it's saying the Chiefs are a 100% chance to beat the Jets. That's funny. That's funny. That must be 99.9 something. We need to make sure that isn't actually 100. Let's find out. No, no, it is actually 100% chance that the Chiefs win. Oh boy, that's probably a problem in my formula, but it should never be 100%. But that looks crazy. And then Tampa Bay over the Giants, which I think is the Monday or Sunday night game. And then, oh, wait a minute, it says the Monday night game. And then Tennessee over the Bengals, Packers over the Vikings. Yep, that makes sense. Carolina over Atlanta. That's interesting. Anyway, but this is not done yet. So don't use this as a guide for the upcoming week because I need to update all the stats and look at the injury report. So let me talk about what's going on with the injury report now. So I've made the injuries a little bit more interactive in that we're going to get a description about what the type of injury is because this is not updated, of course. I haven't updated it. I'm doing that after I press, end on this video. I'm going to go do that part of this. But you can now click and you can see, people that are questionable. How impactful are the people that are questionable? And the answer is, well, Arizona had some questionable people. Minnesota's got some powerful questionable people. Same with the Giants. And then like things like concussions, who's getting concussions? Dalton, yeah, Rashad Perryman on the Jets. There's interesting ways to look at this so that when you're determining who's going to be playing, sometimes you can pull out people that like ankles don't heal that fast, knees don't heal that fast, these kind of things. Who's on the COVID list, which teams are showing up on the COVID list, all kinds of different stuff here. So this is pretty cool that we've changed the injury report around to include that. And I don't know, I think I'm going to get to week 8 and prepare that. So if you're interested, go check it out. As always, good luck to everybody. Is there anything I can tell you about Thursday night's game for those of you who don't want to tell me whether or not you voted and don't want to pay for it? Well, the answer is Thursday night's game is Carolina-Atlanta. It likes Carolina. But Atlanta is a team that can score. I bet there's probably an over there. But I don't know. I'll have more information later when I update. So good luck, everybody.